guys, Marian here. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to film a little sit down and catch up video with you guys today to share all about what you can expect if you are going to be a guest at a Seder. So the Jewish holiday of Passover is coming up, and I know a lot of folks are going to be attending Seders, and some of you might be attending for your very first time, or since a very long time, maybe since you were a kid, and I thought I would make a video to help prep anyone who's nervous about attending a Seder. So thanks for being here at my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up to let me know, and hit that red subscribe button down below to see more. So the Passover Seder, I absolutely love Passover Seders. All throughout college, I would always invite my friends and roommates who were, not Jewish or had never been to Seders, and we always had the best time. So I think it's a beautiful tradition to include folks who aren't Jewish or who haven't celebrated in a long time in Passover Seder. So if you're lucky enough to be invited to one, then I hope you have an amazing time. I think it's really enjoyable, full of lots of family and love and friendship and community. So I'm just an all-around big fan. Anyway, so let's get into it. Number one question that I always get is what to wear. What to wear to a Seder. So of course, with all of these questions, it sort of depends on who invited you and what they're like and what the customs in their home. But I would say that attire for a Seder is similar to business casual or even fancy dress, something that you would wear to a friend's house if they invited you over for a nice dinner. So if you were celebrating a birthday or something, or they wanted to invite you to their home for like a Friday night dinner. So I would say to be on the safe side, I wouldn't wear jeans. For guys, I would wear slacks and a button-down shirt. And for women, either same slacks and a shirt or a nice dress, but nothing too dressy. It's not like a formal kind of thing unless your host tells you that it is. People will generally be dressed nice though, sort of like they came from work, but maybe one step up from that. Some Seders I'm sure would be a little bit more casual, but to be on the safe side, I would go with slacks and a shirt for a guy. You could wear a tie if you want, and for a lady, for a woman, either a nice or more casual dress or slacks and a shirt. I wouldn't wear flip-flops or jeans or ripped jeans, anything like that. If you feel comfortable walking into an office building in that outfit, or to a friend's for dinner, for a nicer dinner, like a birthday kind of dinner, then I think you'll be fine for Seder. Okay, the second question I get asked most often is what to bring. What's a good hostess gift for a Seder? So it's a little tricky because there's so many dietary restrictions for Passover, and especially if you don't really understand them, it can be hard to purchase something that your host will want to serve, especially if they're serving meat or milk, or how kosher for Passover they are. They might, certain products marked kosher for Passover might not be enough for them. Even cut up fruit might not be great if your kitchen's not kosher for Passover. So it gets into very complicated territory. So to be safe, I would bring a kosher for Passover bottle of wine. It's really easy to find. You can probably go to any local wine store and ask them for a kosher bottle of wine. And even if it doesn't say kosher for Passover, for example, it's still a nice gift that they can use later. But don't be offended if they don't open it at the Seder. You did absolutely nothing wrong. It's just sometimes there's just certain families that have such a specific degree of what they'll eat on Passover, but they can always have it after Passover. So kosher bottle of wine is great. Kosher for Passover marked, even better. If you can't find that, flowers are really nice. Super, super religious families will not want to put the flowers in a vase on the holy day, like to pour the water, and it's a whole thing. But so if you're going to a really, really religious household, maybe shy away from that one. But most families would be comfortable putting them in the vase and will be very thankful for such a thoughtful gift. One of the best things you can give is just a beautifully written thank you note after the fact or beforehand, just to let them know how appreciative you are of them welcoming you into their home. You can also buy something from the kosher Passover aisle that's marked kosher Passover, like a dessert. Again, don't be offended if they don't serve it at the Seder. It might be dairy and they're not serving dairy or something like that, but again, something that they can enjoy during the holiday. So I'd go for wine, Flowers could work. A kosher for Passover like chocolate or dessert, or just a written thank you card is thanks enough. Also, don't be offended if they don't want you to cook or contribute to the meal, because again, there's just so many specifics on what people will eat during Passover. Okay, so you're ready to go to the Seder, you're dressed, you've got your hostess gift or your thank you note. What to know before you go. I would actually eat a snack before you go, because the way Seders work is there isn't really a cocktail hour, or there aren't appetizers until you get to the meal. So you're gonna, when the Seder begins, sit around like a big table, and people are gonna go around the table reading from the Haggadah. There likely will be some Hebrew, but there's usually transliteration and translation, so you'll be able to know what's going on, and everyone will just sit quietly and read from the Haggadah. But that portion can take anywhere from 15 minutes if they do it like super fast to hours, just depending. I mean, most likely I would say expect an hour to be safe before you're gonna eat, if not maybe a little bit more. So I think it's a good idea to have a snack before you go so you're not starving. Also, the food might be new and different to you, and you don't wanna be hangry. There is some eating during the Seder before you get to the big meal. You taste the charoset, you might have a boiled egg before the dinner, and definitely matzo ball soup, but generally, I would say there's a portion of time before you actually eat, so don't show up starving. So back to the Haggadah reading, what to expect during the Seder. So like I said, people will generally go around the table and read. It's pretty quiet. It's meant to be a time where we listen, almost like a service in a temple would take place, but there definitely should be opportunities for discussion and for singing. So it's really common to have the whole room singing, and you can definitely hum along. The words will be written in the Haggadah. You'll probably be able to pick them up, but if you're not comfortable singing, like, that's totally fine too. But you can expect to hear reading and singing, but generally it's a very spiritual and important night. So you won't have too much side conversation, or at least boisterous side conversation during the actual Seder. You might be asked to read something. It's really common to like go around the table and have each person read a paragraph, but absolutely don't worry if the names or words are foreign to you. Everyone will be totally, or should be totally, understanding of that, and most likely they will not ask you to read like a Hebrew prayer that you wouldn't be able to, or something like that. So when you get to the meal, you'll know it's the meal because the Haggadah will probably say, and now it's time to eat the meal. There might be a few courses. There's usually a soup course, sometimes there's a fish course, and then the actual meal. And then the meal concludes with dessert, and one of the fun things that happens at the Seder is the kids go looking for the afikomen, and the afikomen is a hidden piece of matzah. So it's this game that the kids play, and when they find it, then everyone eats dessert. Then after the meal, there's actually a second part of the Haggadah. Not all families do it, but most do, and it's mostly a lot of singing. So it's a really fun part. At this point, there's lots of wine being drunk, everyone's full and happy, so it's a really enjoyable time. Speaking of drinking wine is part of the Passover Seder. You're actually supposed to drink 4 cups, but they can be small. And of course you can drink grape juice, don't feel pressured about it. And it's also fine to have sips of wine in between the actual spots in the Seder where you'll say a blessing for the wine and then drink wine. So that's generally how a Seder works, and that's what you can expect at one. I hope you have an amazing time. If you still have questions and are worried about anything, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer before Seder night. And if you are hosting a Seder, feel free to send this video to anyone new who has questions. And if you need a Haggadah for Passover, don't forget to check mine out. It's available on Etsy as a digital download. It's beautiful and meaningful. And with that, I'm going to wish you a Chag Pesach Sameach. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!